what does it mean to actually be loyal to your partner? What does it mean to actually be honest? Having an open relationship or being in a polyamorous relationship requires more honesty, more openness than a monogamous relationship. And I was never honest. Yes, we've said this publicly, and I will say it again and again. I have gone many days in which I have over 100 orgasms. Like, come on. And then after that, I was doing this shit behind his back, masturbating on camera with another man. Like, what is the matter with me? I don't know what is my problem, but I've got a lot of them, obviously. What am I even doing? Hello, my name is Melissa. I am a 31-year-old woman who has no job, hasn't been in education for years, has no career, has no friends. I am really a nobody going nowhere. I am a dead-end loser. You know, I grew up in a suburb of Detroit. I managed to get into University of Michigan, which is a good school in the United States of America. But what did I do with that opportunity? I squandered it. I spent my time in university with my ex-boyfriend, filming myself having sex with him. I spent my time in university messaging him constantly on my phone from the time I woke up in the morning to the time I fell asleep in the evening, because we didn't live in the same city. Basically, I spent a lot of time smoking marijuana. I drank a lot of alcohol. Just really was living a dissolute life. I was playing video games. I was watching shows on Netflix. Just watching straight up television at that stage of my life. I flunked out of one semester. I was supposed to go and try to get my medical degree. So I was doing pre-med classes, and I totally bombed. That's the first time in my life I completely failed a course. First time in my life I nearly failed another course, and I was put on academic probation. So what did I do when that happened? I didn't take that as a positive opportunity for me to step it up, take the classes again, maybe get a tutor, maybe get my shit together so that I could actually pass organic chemistry. Nope, I switched to English. Not saying I had any great writing chops, I really didn't, but managed to get through those courses and graduate with a degree in English, a useless degree in English, which led me to no job opportunities, no career opportunities. So I graduated when I was 21 years old. I was considering getting a master's degree in speech pathology at the time, so I was taking courses for that at Wayne State University in Detroit. Basically, at that time, looking back on it, I was a loser. I didn't have very many friends at all. I had my boyfriend, I had my 2 cats, spent time at home smoking weed and petting my cats and watching shows on Netflix was pretty much my life. So just a fat, stoned loser, basically. That was who I was. I was Christian throughout my childhood, but then when I went to university, I rebelled against Christianity. I wasn't a virgin until marriage, and I had decided not to be. I had sex with my ex-boyfriend. We sent nude images to each other. We filmed ourselves having sex. I shouldn't have been a prude. I myself didn't upload the videos to a porn site, but I had them, and, my ex-boyfriend had them, and, I had sent nude images to Isel online before I met him. And, if you put naked images of yourself, if you put porn of yourself online, you are barring yourself from doing many fields of employment. It's just, maybe things will change in future, but that's really not the world we live in today. If you take naked pictures of yourself, if you take naked videos of yourself, and those are available online, it probably means you'll never be able to work with children. It probably means that you'll never be able to do many professional jobs like working in government, working as a politician. But yeah, I was young, I was dumb, and I had this idea about privacy. I had this idea about like, oh, okay, I have like a secret, sexy private life, and but really people just see me as this kind of dorky video game playing nerd, like I had this secret life, a secret that I didn't tell anybody. And when I got together with Isel, like I just was never honest with him about that. I never told him, yeah, me and my ex-boyfriend, we used to film each other having sex, and like I never told him that until like literally the last 2 weeks, which, I made a video about that. And why? Like, why did I do that? Why did I not tell Isel that I had this vain secret, that I took photos of myself naked, even though I didn't have an impressive body, like I was never fit, I was never in shape like porn stars are, like people who actually work in porn have to work out at the gym because that's their job. They film themselves naked, they show, every part of themselves. But no, I was never a fitness model. I was never that good looking. I'm not. I really am an ugly person. And that's the truth. Like, I am ugly, but I was living with a person, my ex-boyfriend, who would tell me all the time how beautiful I was, how perfect I was, how much he loved me. It was this constant source of flattery that I got from my ex-boyfriend, which honestly, I don't want to digress too much into it, had been the case since I was just maybe an 11-year-old girl. I was online. I was on AOL Instant Messenger. I was on Facebook and MySpace, and I would get comments from people saying, like both girls and boys telling me, you're so beautiful. Boys commenting like, I want to marry you, boys privately messaging me saying that they love me, they're in love with me, they, want to get married to me. That had been my reality since I was like 11. And I used to go on AOL Instant Messenger, and I never told anybody about those messages. It's like I just had an idea that those were private messages, or the comments that were there publicly on like, profile pictures of myself. That just like that constant source of flattery, I didn't see how toxic it was for me. Like people tell you, oh, you're so sweet, you're so wonderful, without me actually ever having done anything good or really anything wonderful or special. Like, I mean, I just didn't do anything to deserve that kind of admiration that I got all the time. So yeah, that had a huge impact on me, and I had an inflated ego. But yeah, no, I had unexamined, undiscussed, unresolved issues about sexuality, about masturbation, about what it means to be sexy, what it means to be good, what it means to be a good woman. Because, I did have this awareness that I never had the kind of figure that was seen in like beautiful women in movies, in fashion magazines, and so on. Like I have small breasts, just a fact. I do not have the tight, narrow waist and big hips that I know is like basically idealized. If a man really cares about you, they will not delude you. They will not be feeding into the kind of lazy tendencies that you have of just like, oh, I'm just beautiful, I'm beautiful the way I am. And a man, if they want to be with me, they should just appreciate me for how I am and what I look like and who I am, rather than actually doing anything to be somebody that somebody would love and want to appreciate. And yeah, no, I was very selfish, very haughty and reproachful to Isel when he would talk frankly about these issues. He was a grown-ass man, okay? Like, he was 38 years old. He'd been around the block. Like, he didn't want to take any of my bullshit, okay? And he saw through my bullshit from the start. No, now I just look back and I cringe. I didn't want him to be I didn't want to accept that he was just smarter than me, which he is. He is just more intelligent than me. He's thought about these issues. He's talked about these issues for years. He had more sexual experience. He had more relationship experience. He just knew way more than I did. And I should have just realized, hey, I am out of my depth. I don't know shit about this. Aizul has always been there for me. He's always cared about my career. He's always cared about my education. From day one, he wanted to support me and he wanted to make my life better. And I completely fucked that up. I completely squandered that opportunity. It's really wonderful to be with a smart guy. It's really wonderful to be with somebody who wants to love me and treat me right and care for me, even though I am dumb and even though I wasted my time in university. That would be one thing. That would be a better person than I was at that age, but that's not how I behaved. I was an asshole to Aizul so many times. It is hard to put a number on how many days I ruined for both of us because I flew off the handle. I yelled at him. I screamed at him. I broke down weeping. I banged my head against either a door or a floor, wall, self-harm. This was a regular occurrence for Aizul. I made multiple suicide attempts. And I just could never come to grips with the fact that Aizul has talked from the beginning of our relationship about being sweet, loving, kind, about treating him with dignity, with respect. These are all things that from day one, honesty, the importance of not lying, about having open, just being more open, more honest, having an open relationship or being in a polyamorous relationship requires more honesty, more openness than a monogamous relationship. And I was never honest. So in this way, I really do think from the start I was deceiving Aizul, because if he really knew who I was, and if I had accepted who I was, if I had really had the self-knowledge, I think I would have just said, look, Aizul's a real intellectual. Aizul is somebody who really is out of my league in every way. But I hid things from him. This was something that started at the beginning of the relationship, and basically I continued this, and it just got worse and worse and worse from there. This is something that, unfortunately, although I'm aware of it, I keep doing it again and again. The impacts on Aizul, I can't even really fully describe. I feel so sorry for the ways in which I have damaged him, the ways in which I have broken him down, the ways in which I have impacted his the ways in which I have negatively impacted his ability to write, the ways I have negatively impacted his ability to do creative work of any kind with his YouTube videos, with his books, with anything. What does it mean to actually be loyal to your partner? What does it mean to actually be honest? From the very start, he wanted me to be on his YouTube channel. He didn't want to hide me. He wanted to be open with everybody about his life and what he was going through. But I was not open with him. And yeah, going back to the start of our relationship, you can find messages that I had with people that I never told him about. But he always told me about messages he had with other people. I'm horrified by my own behavior, even though I did it myself. And I also have to question, why did I do this? How could I have done this to Aizul when he was always honest with me? He was always open with me. And from the start of our relationship, we had an agreement about what our open relationship meant. He can have sex with other women. He can tell me about it. I can participate to some extent. I can be in the room, or we can have three-way sex with other people. I agreed to that. I agreed to that. And when he explained to me, like, look, Melissa, you've only had sex with two men. It makes sense that before you die, you'd have sex with more than two men. Made sense. That seemed like sexual liberation. That seemed like, but you have to be completely honest. You have to be completely open. Yes, we've said this publicly, and I will say it again and again. I have gone many days in which I have over 100 orgasms. Like, come on. And then after that, I was doing this shit behind his back, masturbating on camera with another man. Like, what is the matter with me? I don't know what is my problem, but I've got a lot of them, obviously. The level of deceit, the level that I have taken it to, is just unfathomable to him. He would never have done this to me, and he would never expect somebody else to do this even to their worst enemy.